Who dat to the Who Dat Nation, and welcome to the Dome Patrol podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. And week one for the New Orleans Saints is in the books, and the New Orleans Saints come out victorious against the Tennessee Titans by the whopping score of 16-15. I don't care. I know there's a lot of people that's going to be like, oh, man, we couldn't score 20 points. Oh, man, they couldn't capitalize on some of those possessions. Yeah, all that can be dissected, and we're going to dissect it. But at this point, I could care less. I just wanted the victory. I got the victory. And it was poignant because the rest of the NFC South won, with the exception of the Carolina Panthers. Everybody else won. Atlanta won by beating Carolina, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won by beating the Minnesota Vikings. So Saints needed this victory, believe it or not, and we got it. Thank God. So Saints now are 1-0 on the season. Let that fester for a week. We're good. We're undefeated. That's a good start. Even though this game did not start off good. The very first play, the opening kickoff, Rashid Shaheed fumbled on the opening kickoff. And immediately my mind just went, oh my God. Is this a prediction of things to come this season? I'm like, oh my God, we're starting off where we left off last year with the turnovers. Oh man, but the defense. Oh my God, I can't wait to go through this game, give out the game balls to certain individuals, and some stinkers to certain individuals too. But this was a well-fought game. It went pretty much like I thought it was going to go. A scrappy defensive battle. Two teams who are playoff caliber teams, dare I say championship caliber teams, and they collided in this matchup, and this is the results, man. It was just a fight. It was a fight, and I'm so encouraged by the fight in our New Orleans Saints. This game, if this game would have took place last year, Saints lose this game going away. They lose this game because I don't see Andy Dalton making those throws that Derek Carr made at the end of this game. I don't see the confidence in this offense with Derek Carr as they showed last season, because last season it just trickled down to everybody. Andy Dalton was in the game. Nobody really cared. You could tell by the body language. Nobody wanted to be there. Today, I can honestly say this team had grit. They had fight in them. They had a sense of not so much urgency, but it was a sense of the moment. And they answered the call when they needed to answer the call. Yeah, there were some faux pas along the way, but, it was what it was. We came out with the win. It wasn't a thing of beauty, but the New Orleans Saints won their 2023 season opener by the score of 16-15 over the Tennessee Titans today in the Caesars Superdome. The game only had one touchdown between both of the teams. One. And that was a 19-yard touchdown pass from Derek Carr to Shaheed, and a record, an NFL record, 8 field goals, 8 between Nick Foles and Folks and our new kicker Blake Gillespie. So that lets you know right off the bat, this was a defensive battle from pillar to post, man. But our defense forced 3 turnovers today, and that was another deciding factor. 3. Ryan Tannehill threw 3 interceptions, and he could have threw 6. To be honest with you, I think Lattimore dropped one. He caught one, but he dropped one. I think Alontae Taylor dropped one. And I think somebody else. I could be wrong, but it was a couple of them that could have been intercepted as well. But overall, we did get 3 picks on Tannehill. Derek Carr made his first start as a Saint. He went 23 of 33, and we're going to go over all the stats a little later. Throwing for 305 yards in that touchdown, and he also threw a pick too. His 3 top receivers were Chris Olave, who had 8 receptions for 112 yards. Michael Thomas had 5 catches for 61 yards, and Shadeed had 5 catches for 89 yards. But my God, the story of today was the defense. Marshawn Lattimore, Marcus May, and Paulson Adebo all had interceptions. The unit also sacked Ryan Tannehill 3 times and held Derrick Henry. Now, this was the shocker. If there was any shocker to come away from this game, this was it. They held Derrick Henry to 63 yards rushing on 15 carries after having 51 yards rushing in the first half, which tells me they held him to 12 yards of rushing in that second half. Now, a lot of that, and I was telling a friend of mine, we were talking during the game, a lot of that is on the Tennessee coaching staff. They went away from him. Now, at the same time, Demario Davis was a madman out there. He was popping Henry. And I've never seen Henry get popped like he was getting popped today. Demario Davis was laying the boom on on Derrick Henry today. I was like, my God, man, calm down. Calm down, DD. But overall, excellent job by this defense. This defense was the star of the game. To hold this team to 5 field goals, 5, and I think they was in the red zone, 3 times, 4 times maybe? I don't know. We're going to go over the stats a little later. I saw it. I forgot it. But anyways, great job. Great job. Especially on third down efficiency. Great job. I think they only converted 2 times on third down. They being the Titans, that is. This defense had it on their mind. They came to play. Unfortunately, the offense, they sputtered. And that was the frustrating part about watching this game today. And this drives home the point that I felt during the preseason. That offense should have played a little more during the offseason to gain some chemistry, get some actual gameplay under their belt. It wasn't like this is an established team that has been playing together for a couple of years. They really didn't need any reps. No, this is you have a new quarterback. You got new pieces on this offense. You need to get some chemistry going. And you could tell early on the chemistry just wasn't there all throughout this game, actually. Sporadically, we got some big plays, some smart plays, but overall, the chemistry just wasn't quite there. And it showed. And I think that not playing during the preseason really affected. Now, that's not to say them playing, they could have played all 4 quarters of all 3 preseason games. It still came out and played like this. Okay, you can make that argument. But the most glaring thing is the fact they didn't really have much gameplay. The starters only played 1 drive in that first preseason game. Were they clicking on that first drive? Yes. But that was against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, who we've seen, Thursday night is not all that good without Chris Jones in the game. So you could take that with a grain of salt a little bit, but they did struggle a lot. But that's not to poo-poo on the Tennessee Titans. You knew going into this game, Tennessee is a very, very good football team, especially on the defensive side. Mike Vrabel is a defensive-minded coach, and he had those guys playing. They really took the run away from the New Orleans Saints, along with Pete Carmichael, our offensive coordinator. We didn't even try to run the ball that time. It was like, man, come on, let's get some ball control here. Let's try to run the ball. That was one of my keys to victory in the preview to this game. Run the ball, establish the run. Yeah, you probably only get 2-3 yards, but keep pounding the rock. Eventually, something will open up. But it was like they tried to run the ball. You got 2 yards, and they just run away from the run. it was mind-boggling. I was like, man, come on, man. We have to be consistent with the run game. Let's run the ball. Keep the defense honest. But it's the first game. There's some things you need to clean up. I wasn't expecting a perfect game, but I was expecting some type of balance on offense. So I hope that we clean that up going forward. We got away with it this week, but it's not too many more weeks we can get away with this this style of play. Let's go over our stats for today, starting with our quarterback, Derek Carr. He was 23 of 33 for 305 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Ryan Tannehill for the Tennessee Titans was 16 for 34, 198 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Our leading rusher today was Jamal Williams. He had 18 carries for 45 yards. Shaheed had 2 carries for 11 yards. Tony Jones Jr. had 1 carry for 5 yards. And Derek Carr had 3 carries for 4 yards. And Taysom Hill had 3 carries for 4 yards as well. The leading rusher for the Tennessee Titans is a no-brainer, of course, is Derrick Henry. 15 carries for 63 yards. Spears had 3 carries for 27 yards. Burks had 1 carry for 9 yards. And Ryan Tannehill had 3 carries for 5 yards. Leading receiver today for the New Orleans Saints was Chris Olave. He was a beast today. He had 8 catches for 112 yards. Shaheed had 5 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. Michael Thomas had 5 catches for 61 yards. Jawan Johnson had 3 catches for 36 yards. And Jamal Williams had 2 catches for 7 yards. For the Tennessee Titans, the leading receiver today was D-Hop, who was locked up for the most part today. Let's be real. He had 7 catches for 65 yards. Westbrook Inkine had 4 catches for 58 yards. Derrick Henry had 2 catches for 56 yards. Brooks had 2 catches for 18 yards. And Spears has 1 catch for 1 yard. Team stats: Saints had 14 first downs, 12 by passing, 1 by rushing, and 1 by a penalty. Tennessee had 16 first downs, 8 by passing, 5 by rushing, and 3 by penalty. On third down efficiency, Saints were 6 of 15, whereas the Tennessee Titans were 2 of 12 on third down. Nobody went for it on fourth. Total plays: Saints had a grand total of 63 plays to Tennessee's 59. Total yardage: Saints had 340 yards to Tennessee's 285. Total drives: it was dead even. Both teams had 12 drives apiece. Yards per play: Saints averaged 5.4 per play. Tennessee 4.8. In the red zone, Saints were 1 of 3 in the red zone. Tennessee 0 for 3 in the red zone. Penalties today: Saints had 7 penalties for 45 yards. Tennessee 6 penalties for 45 yards. Total turnovers: Saints had 2 turnovers, 1 fumble loss, and an interception. 3 for the Tennessee Titans. All 3 were interceptions. Time of possession: Tennessee won the time of possession, 31 minutes and 20 seconds to the Saints 28 minutes and 5 seconds. Let's introduce a new segment this season: the game ball handoff. Who gets the game ball, which is the equivalent to the MVP of the game, and who has to sit in the corner. And so let's start off with the game ball. The game ball doesn't go to one individual today. It goes to a entire unit, and that is the defense. The defense as a whole played lights out. I mean, spectacular. Up front, I didn't see much blitzing. I didn't see much blitzing, but the Saints did get pressure with their front four. They got a few sacks. They got about 3 sacks today, but the real effectiveness was getting back there, making Ryan Tannehill very uncomfortable throughout the game. He was rattled. You could tell the throws were off, even though Ryan Tannehill is not the greatest thrower of the ball, but he caught the blues today. He caught the blues. That front four did an excellent job. Linebacking core, excellent job, especially Demario Davis, really showing his experience, his presence on the field, knowing where Derrick Henry was going to run, knowing what gap to attack, knowing exactly what play they were going to run. I mean, he was doing it all. As that Mike linebacker, he's outstanding. Love him. Secondary, what can I say? They got 3 picks. Could have had about 6, but they locked up D Hop. The other receivers were locked up as well. Wasn't much run after the catch. When they did get catches, it was a real nice job by our defensive unit. They get the game ball for today's game. Who has to go sit in the corner? That'll be our left tackle, Trevor Penning, 2nd year. I'm sorry, but it's not working. He is quickly approaching bust territory, and I'm trying not to throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet here. I know this is his technically, red shirt year here, but no, man. And this is it wasn't like he was lined up against Nick Bosa here. He wasn't lined up against Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? And no disrespect to oh man, I forgot the guy's name just that quick. But he's good. But my God, he's just running right past his technique was so bad. It was so bad. The commentators were saying how bad his technique is. He's flat-footed. He doesn't get his hands up in time. It's like, why are you out? He's just standing out there. He's just there. And it's frustrating on so many levels. And this is your 2nd year in the league, man. I can't, no, man, because look, left tackle is the most important position on an offensive line. That is your quarterback's blind side. For instance, on that play that should have been a fumble, I'll tell you this, it should have been a fumble by Derek Carr, but they said it was an incomplete pass. I took it and ran with it. But man, the dude came around the end so quick. The reason he came so quick, he was basically unblocked and hit Derek Carr's arm. Let's just say he tomahawks chops Derek Carr's arm. Derek Carr is grand opening, grand closing, week 1. Just that quick. Why? Because of Trevor Penning. Thank God he didn't get hurt. But it was like, man, are you paying attention? Are you doing what? It's basic fundamentals, man. That's the part that gets me. This is basic fundamentals at that position that you've been playing for the longest time. Now, somebody told me this isn't his natural position, left tackle. He's more of a guard. He's more of an inside line, offensive lineman. Okay, that's fine. Even as an inside offensive lineman, you ought to be able to have some form of technique. I don't know, man. That is, he needs to clean it up, and he needs to clean it up fast, very, very fast, to put a deadline on it by next Monday night. That's when he needs to clean it up. But yeah, he has to sit in the corner this week, Trevor Penning. But let's go over the grades here. We do this every game. After every game, we grade all 3 units, well, 4 units if you count coaching, on the Saints, how they did today from A plus to F, and round it all off and give an overall grade of the performance in the game. And so let's start off with the offense. Offense gets a B minus today. Uh, it could have been better, should have been better. Saints only ran the ball 26 times. I felt they should have ran it at least 35. They should have did try to have some balance because they threw the ball 33 times. So it should have been around that number running the ball. But no point crying over spilled milk. They did turn the ball over, and they did it should have been 2 turnovers if we're being honest. And Trevor Penning just looked horrible in that position. So we giving it a B minus over there for the offense. Defense, A plus. Defense did nothing wrong today. Absolutely nothing wrong. They turned the ball over. They forced field goals. They applied pressure. What else could you ask for a defense? Even at times when the offense looked like it was sputtering and putting them right back on the field, they never got tired. They still went about their business and handled their business and kept the Tennessee Titans out of the end zone the entire game. Saints defense gets an A plus. Special teams today, it gets a B plus, and it gets a B plus. That opening kickoff. Literally, I didn't get to sit down good, and the Saints turned the ball off. My God, it was like, oh man, here we go. Here we go. But I can't look past Blake Gillespie nailing all of his field goals, and our 30-year-old rookie punter who boomed some pretty good punts today, and the punt coverage was pretty good as well. They get a B plus. Coaching gets a B minus. Defensively gets an A, but offensively, the play calling, like I said, it's the run. It was the running game for me. That's my biggest bugaboo. I sound like a broken record today, but that was my biggest bugaboo for this game. Didn't run the ball more, and I was telling myself and telling my cousin I talked to at halftime, I like, bruh, you really, really feel the absence of Alvin Kamara in this game. We really feel it because it seems like the play calling was so different, vastly different, because he wasn't in the game, and I noticed that in past seasons when Kamara was either hurt or out and didn't play, how the playbook, it just flips. The play calling is different, and I don't know. Whatever they did today worked for the most part because they won the game, but it didn't have that flow, that balance on offense that we've grown accustomed to in the past. And so coaching gets a B minus. Overall, the New Orleans Saints today, B plus as a team, getting the victory against the Tennessee Titans. I'm happy with the win. I'm happy that we got the win. I've seen some things here that is very, very encouraging moving forward. I also saw some things that are troubling, but the things that I saw that are troubling can be fixed. It's not like we are lacking in certain positions and there's no hope. Like our receivers can't catch or our quarterback can't throw and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? It's little things that can be tweaked and cleaned up, Dennis Allen's favorite expression, clean up. And I think that we will be all right at the end of the day. The Trevor Penning of it all, that offensive line as a whole, to be honest with you, I'm picking on Trevor Penning, but the offensive line as a whole, as far as run blocking is concerned, was kind of troubling as well. So I'm not going to put it all on Trevor Penning today, even though he was the most glaring on that line. But all of them had me kind of scratching my head when it came to the run blocking. So, but like I said, it can be cleaned up. So I'm encouraged. I can't wait to see moving forward how we are going to stack up against the rest of the NFL. Saints next matchup will be on Monday Night Football. We get a week and a day. This will be our only in Monday Night Football game this season. We're getting it out the way early, and as we go up against the Carolina Panthers, who lost today, I mean, got demolished today by Atlanta. Bryce Young didn't look too hot, it was ugly there. But once again, this is a division game. Carolina always gives us the blues, and especially going up against a rookie quarterback. I don't know what it is about a rookie quarterback, and Dennis Allen is his kryptonite. It's always a tough out, and not more often than not they beat us. But we'll go over that game, or preview, as I should say, later on this week. But as far as right now, I'm celebrating this victory once again. In case you didn't hear me correctly, the New Orleans Saints, for the 5th season in a row, which is a team record, win their season opener as they defeat the Tennessee Titans by the score of 16-15. What did you think about the game? Did you enjoy the game? Were you on the edge of your seat? Especially on that last drive, hoping that we got the first down. How did you feel about this game? Oh, also, before we close it out, we were in a war, and all war has casualties. It looked like Peyton Turner once again hurt his foot and his ankle, and that's just bad breaks, man. I feel so bad for that guy. I couldn't even get mad. I was like, he got the worst luck on earth. I'm hoping, I'm praying that he's going to be all right, that it's not serious. It looks like he was walking off the field, walking into the locker room on his own, under his own power. So maybe that's encouraging. Hopefully, prayerfully, he's all right. It's just something kind of tweaked, that he can work out, maybe miss a game and come back healthy. We'll see. But I really, man, I feel so bad for that dude. Honestly, I feel so bad for him. Chris Olave went out the game around I think in the third quarter or beginning of the fourth quarter, one of that, but he did return. I think it was another player in there, but nothing serious so far. But we'll find out more, of course, as the week goes on. But as I was saying before, I want to know, how did you feel about the game? Did you enjoy the game? Are you happy we got away with the victory? Or are you upset that it wasn't a blowout, that we didn't blow them out? Look, I've been following the Saints my entire life, and I've come to the point in my life, I don't care if they beat a team by 100 points or by 0.5 points. I just want them to win. So I would like to know what you thought. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also look me up on all social media platforms. Just look up the KB Radio Network. Also, people, I'm on YouTube. Look for the KB Radio Network channel. Subscribe to the channel and like this video. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Dome Patrol podcast here on the KB Radio Network. Oh my God, people, it feels good to be back talking Saints football, man, and talking a Saints victory. It's even better. Oh, bruh. Oh, it feels good. This is going to be a good week. A good week. Y'all ever notice that the week just goes by ever so glowingly when the Saints win? You're happy. You're walking to work with your chest poked out, until you have to do work, and then it gets deflated. But, you feel good Monday morning. I'm going to feel good tomorrow morning, guys. When I walk in that gate at work. Oh man, it feels good. I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight. Everybody, don't forget, this weekend you can catch the Dome Patrol podcast as we preview the Saints Monday night matchup as we travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers for Monday Night Football. Can't wait to speak to you then. Until then, all week, baby, I'm going to be screaming, "Who dat?"